On Valentine's Day, my girlfriend texted, "Going to dinner with the girls instead. We'll do something tomorrow." I replied, "Of course." Then I posted a video of me donating the jewelry I bought to a shelter. The internet loved it, until she saw it. I'm not the kind of guy who makes a big deal out of Valentine's Day. To me, it's a Tuesday. But my girlfriend of 3 years, Jessica, was the opposite. For her, Valentine's Day was the Super Bowl of relationships. A day for grand gestures, expensive gifts, and most importantly, a public performance of affection for her social media followers. I played along because it made her happy, and I loved her. Or at least I thought I did. This year, I had gone all out. I'd made a reservation a month in advance at one of the best restaurants in the city. I'd ordered a ridiculous amount of flowers to be delivered to her office. And on my desk, in a sleek, dark blue box, sat a diamond necklace that had cost me more than my first car. I was ready to play my part in the grand theater of her Valentine's Day. At around noon on the day itself, while I was in the middle of a client meeting, my phone buzzed. It was a text from her. "Hey babe, so sorry to do this, but the girls are having a total meltdown about their boyfriends. We've decided to do an emergency Valentine's dinner tonight instead. I feel terrible, but they really need me. We'll do something tomorrow, I promise. Love you." I stared at the text for a full minute, the words blurring together. It wasn't the cancellation that hit me. It was the casual, almost breezy way she did it. The complete disregard for my time, for the plans I had made. The assumption that I would just be there tomorrow, waiting patiently. And the phrase, "emergency Valentine's dinner." I knew her friends. The only emergency they ever had was a sale at their favorite boutique. I'm a patient man. I'm a financial analyst. My entire life is about observing patterns, and I had been observing a pattern with Jessica for months. The increasing sense of entitlement, the way she would talk about her friends' expensive gifts with a pointed, jealous tone, the subtle but constant digs about my boring job and my lack of spontaneity. This text wasn't an anomaly. It was the final data point in a very clear trend line. I typed back a simple 2-word reply, "Of course." Then I put my phone down, excused myself from my meeting, and walked back to my office. I sat at my desk and looked at the blue jewelry box. $5,000 of compressed carbon, meant to be a symbol of my affection for a woman who had just traded it for a gossip session with her friends. A profound sense of clarity washed over me. The relationship wasn't just failing, it was a bad investment, and it was time to cut my losses. But I wasn't just going to walk away. She had made a public spectacle of her disregard for me. I was going to make a public spectacle of my newfound freedom, and I was going to use her own weapon, the court of public opinion, to do it. Update 1. The first part of my plan was simple. I called the restaurant and canceled our reservation. I called the florist and had them redirect the flowers, not to my home, but to the front desk of the nearest children's hospital. Then I took the jewelry box and left my office for the day. My destination was a place called The Haven, a well-known and highly respected women's shelter on the other side of town. It was a place for women and their children who were escaping abusive situations, a place that ran on donations and goodwill. I walked in and asked to speak to the director, a kind-faced, no-nonsense woman in her 60s named Margaret. I introduced myself and explained why I was there. I told her I had a Valentine's Day gift that was no longer needed by its intended recipient, and that I wanted to donate it to the shelter. I told her they could use it however they saw fit, raffle it off at their next fundraiser, give it to a woman who was starting a new life with nothing. Margaret was taken aback. She opened the box, her eyes widening at the sight of the necklace. "This is incredibly generous," she stammered. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," I said. Then I made my real move. I pulled out my phone. "Margaret," I said, "I know this is a strange request, but would you mind if I filmed this? I'm not going to show your face or the faces of any of the residents. I just want to say a few words. I think it might do some good." She was hesitant, but I explained my reasoning. I told her I wanted to use a moment of personal disappointment to create something positive, to encourage other people to think about giving back. She eventually agreed. I set up my phone on a small table, framing the shot so it was just me, Margaret's hands holding the open jewelry box, and the shelter's logo on the wall behind me. Then I hit record. I kept it short, simple, and sincere. I didn't mention Jessica by name. I didn't talk about being dumped. I just told the truth, framed in the best possible light. "Hi everyone," I began. "My name is Alex. Today is Valentine's Day, and like a lot of people, I had plans. I bought these flowers and this necklace for someone I care about very much. But life happens, and plans change, and I was left with a choice. I could be sad, or I could try to turn this into something good." I gestured to the necklace. This was supposed to be a symbol of love for one person, but now it's going to be a symbol of hope for many. I'm here at The Haven, a wonderful organization that helps women and children get back on their feet. I'm donating this to them in the hopes that it can help them continue their incredible work. I looked directly into the camera. So if your Valentine's Day didn't go as planned today, I just want to say, you're not alone. And maybe, just maybe, the best way to heal a broken heart is to help someone else mend theirs. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I stopped recording, thanked Margaret for her time, and left. I drove home, edited the video slightly to add the shelter's website and donation link, and then I posted it. Not on my personal page, but on a popular local news and events page on Facebook and on Twitter, with a few relevant hashtags, #Valentine's Day, Pay It Forward, and the name of our city. Then I turned off my phone, poured myself a glass of whiskey, and waited for the internet to do its work. It didn't take long. By the time I woke up the next morning, the video had exploded. It had been shared thousands of times. The local news page had made it their top story. My face was everywhere. The comments were a tidal wave of positive reinforcement. This is what a real man looks like. Someone's ex is crying in a corner right now. What a huge mistake she made. I just donated to The Haven in your name, Alex. Thank you for the inspiration. The story had a hero, me, a villain, the anonymous heartless ex, and a good cause. It was perfect viral catnip. By mid-morning, my phone was ringing off the hook with calls from local news stations wanting to do a story on the Valentine's Day angel. I politely declined all of them, saying I didn't want the attention. This, of course, only made me look more humble and heroic. The first contact from Jessica came around noon. It was a single baffled text. "My phone is blowing up. What did you do?" I didn't reply. An hour later, she called. I let it go to voicemail. The message she left was a masterpiece of cognitive dissonance. She was confused, angry, and utterly unable to process the fact that I had done something so significant without her permission. "Alex, what the hell is going on?" she said, her voice tight with suppressed rage. "My mom just called me, asking if we broke up. That video is everywhere. You donated my necklace, the one you bought for me. You had no right. Call me back right now." Her necklace, the one she had never seen, never touched, never even known about. The sense of ownership, the sheer, unadulterated entitlement, was breathtaking. I still didn't reply. I was waiting for her next move. I knew it wouldn't just be anger. It would be a full-scale public relations war, and I was ready for it. Update 2. The counteroffensive began that afternoon. Jessica, unable to get to me directly, took to the one battlefield she thought she could win on: social media. She posted a long, rambling story on her Instagram, complete with a tearful selfie. The story was a work of fiction. She claimed that we had a minor disagreement and that in a fit of toxic, manipulative rage, I had staged the entire donation video to publicly humiliate her and paint her as a villain. She said the necklace was a gift I had already given her and that I had stolen it back from her just to make my disgusting, self-serving video. Her friends, her loyal Greek chorus of enablers, immediately jumped into action. They shared her post, adding their own commentary. "He's always been a controlling psycho. This is what she's been dealing with for years. This isn't charity, it's emotional abuse. Abuse. Don't fall for his act. She ditched him for one night to support her friends, and he does this? The man is a walking red flag." They tried to flip the script, to recast me as the villain and her as the victim. It was a good strategy, but it had one fatal flaw. It was built on a foundation of lies, and I had the receipts. I didn't engage with them directly. That would have been messy and would have just fed the drama. Instead, I waited for a local news blogger, a woman who had written a particularly glowing piece about my donation, to reach out to me for comment on Jessica's accusations. When she did, I replied with a calm, factual statement and 2 pieces of evidence. My statement was simple. I am saddened by these false accusations, but I am not surprised. My only intention was to turn a disappointing situation into a positive one for a worthy cause. The decision to end my relationship was made after I received a text message from my then-girlfriend on Valentine's Day, canceling our plans. As for the necklace, it was never in her possession. It was in mine until I gave it to the director of the Haven. The first attachment I sent the blogger was a screenshot of the time-stamped receipt for the necklace, which I had purchased on the morning of Valentine's Day. The second attachment was a screenshot of Jessica's text message to me, also from Valentine's Day, where she casually canceled our plans. The blogger updated her article within the hour. The new headline was scathing. Valentine's Day Angel's ex accuses him of theft. Receipts tell a different story. The article laid out the timeline side by side. My purchase of the necklace at 10 a.m., her cancellation text at noon. My donation at 3 p.m. It was a simple, undeniable chronology of facts that completely dismantled her narrative. The internet, which had been momentarily confused by her accusations, turned on her with a vengeance. Her Instagram comments became a dumpster fire of public ridicule. So you're mad because he donated a necklace you didn't even know existed after you blew him off on Valentine's Day? The entitlement is staggering. Girl, you didn't just fumble the bag, you threw it into a charitable furnace. This is a masterclass in how to turn yourself into the most hated person in the city in 24 hours. But I wasn't done. I had one more card to play. I had a suspicion that the emergency Valentine's dinner wasn't the full story. Her reaction had been too extreme, her lies too frantic. I hired a private investigator the same day I made the donation. I gave him the names of Jessica's friends and asked him to do one thing: find out where they really were on Valentine's night. It took him less than a day. He got credit card receipts and social media geotags. 2 of the friends were, in fact, together at a trendy new restaurant. But Jessica wasn't with them. She was at a completely different, much more intimate and expensive restaurant on the other side of town. And she wasn't alone. She was with her ex-boyfriend, a guy named Ben she had sworn was ancient history. The PI had a photo, taken by an associate in the restaurant. It was a picture of them holding hands across the table. I held on to that photo. It was my insurance policy, my ace in the hole. I was waiting for the right moment to play it. Final update. The final act of this drama was a slow, painful implosion of Jessica's entire life. After her public humiliation, she deleted her social media, but the damage was done. The story was too big, too juicy. She became a local pariah. Her friends, the ones who had so eagerly participated in her smear campaign, abandoned her. They didn't want to be associated with the scandal. They started telling people she had lied to them, that they had no idea she was really with her ex-boyfriend. Her job was the next to go. She worked in public relations, an industry where reputation is everything. Her company, facing a barrage of negative attention online, quietly let her go a few weeks after the story broke. She was now unemployed, friendless, and a social outcast. But the worst was yet to come. Her parents, who had initially been her staunchest defenders, were mortified. Their daughter had brought shame and ridicule upon their family name. The final straw, I heard, was when her father, a prominent local businessman, lost a major client because of the scandal. They gave her an ultimatum. She had to get a real job, start paying her own bills, and publicly apologize to me. She refused, still clinging to the tattered shreds of her victim narrative. So they kicked her out. She was now, for the first time in her life, completely on her own. She had no money, no job, and nowhere to go. Which is why, 2 months after that fateful Valentine's Day, she showed up at my door. It was late, almost midnight. She looked like a ghost of her former self. The confident, entitled woman I had known was gone, replaced by someone who looked tired, desperate, and broken. She started with the tears, the apologies, the frantic promises to change. She told me she had made a terrible mistake, that Ben meant nothing, that she loved me. I let her talk for a full 5 minutes. When she was done, I didn't say a word. I just pulled out my phone and showed her the picture of her and Ben, holding hands in the restaurant on Valentine's Day. Her face crumbled. The last of her lies had been stripped away, leaving only the ugly, undeniable truth. I know everything, Jessica, I said, my voice quiet. I've known since the beginning. She started begging then, a desperate, pathetic plea for a place to stay, for a little money to get back on her feet. I just shook my head. You had a home, I said. You had a man who loved you and provided for you, and you traded it all for a dinner with your ex. You made your choice, and now you have to live with it. I closed the door, leaving her standing on my porch. My revenge was never about the necklace. It was about showing her and the world the true value of things. She valued a momentary thrill over a lifetime of loyalty. I valued my self-respect over a relationship built on lies. And in the end, we both got exactly what we deserved.